Welcome to the Cornbread and Kool-Aid podcast. My name is Demetrius. As always, we thank the super producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Ward. I am requesting a waiver today. I'm not playing at 100%, much like our Honolulu Blue and Silver Gridiron Gladiator Warriors, whatever the hell we want to call them today. But we're not going at 100%, but we're going anyway. Sometimes I have people either on Twitter or through text, they text me and they say, do you enjoy this? Of course I love it. This is fun for me. I hope you guys enjoy it, but I enjoy doing this as a passion. That's why I do it. And I'll probably keep doing it as long as it's fun and I enjoy it. So, but I often get the question, and today it was, the super producer extraordinaire with a simple question, but there's so many layers to it. Like, immediately as the game gets to the end, are you sure you want to do a podcast today? Question mark. It's not an absurd question, by the way, after a game like today, but it's also, there's a degree of funny to it. There's also a degree of, I'm not feeling great, so this would be an ideal weekend to just take off, right? But that's not what we do. It's this is how we get through it. So today, we talked a little format and what do we want to do? And I decided, you know what? And I'm not making this up. They do this in the paper. They'll do this in the paper today, tomorrow. They do it all the time. But I said, I want to do a school grade thing. I don't feel like getting all cute. Let's just grade each unit. Let's just grade everybody, right? Let's go offense, defense, coaches, special teams, right? Let's just make that the format, because I got a lot. I have a lot to unload on some people. This podcast is and has always been just about me getting through the process of being a Lions fan. I really hope you guys like it. I'm always looking for people to talk to about it. If you're a listener and you're a Lions fan and you enjoy talking about them, this format is open. I'll have a guest. If you want to get on, hit me on the Twitter thing. I will take guests. I will take other people getting on. I'm fine with that. I'm going to do this because I have to do this to get on with the rest of my life. So we're going to get right to it. 48-45 final. Seattle came in, put up 555 yards, including 235 on the ground. Couple things we got to get out of the way. Injuries are a part of the game. Everybody has them. I believe there's a difference between reasons and excuses. Both of those can coexist. Today's not the day where I'm going to say injuries are the thing. I'm not. I will tell you, they didn't have Swift, St. Brown, Chark, Jonah Jackson on offense. Well, who cares? They scored 45 points. So clearly injuries maybe are not the thing. On defense, the Tracy Walker absence is a big deal. Could have been a bigger deal today than in the future. But Kaminsky didn't play today, that kind of thing. So there's no cute or interesting way to go through this. This was a bad loss. This was a bad loss, right? I said Philly was a good loss. People don't believe in such a thing as a good loss. I called the Philly loss a good loss. Last week was just tough. Last week was painful because I thought they were the better team. I can't be honest with you and say today at any point that I think the Lions were truly the better team. I mean, prior to kickoff, I thought the Lions were truly the better team. But by midway through the first quarter, and that's on coaching. I'm not sure I thought the Lions were the better team, which is not good. I mean, that's unfortunate. But all right, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna start with the defense because let's see. I'm gonna go through the terms. I have to because I don't have to. I choose to, right? I like to refer to the people I'm close to, who I talk to frequently during the game about the Lions, the people whose opinions I balance mine against for different reasons, right? And it's three of them today, right? My brother, Kenny, my good friend, Art, my cousin, Chuck. So we'll reference Kenny, Art, and Chuck throughout the podcast today because there was a lot of communication with these guys, right? So the grading, right? They're giving up 35 points a game on defense through 4 games. I would guess without doing any research, that's worse in the league. If it's not worse in the league, I'm going to be stunned. I'm not going to be happy. I'll just be surprised. I have to believe they have the worst defense in the league. So I think schools still give out the letter grade F. I hope they do. That's what we're giving the Lions defense today. Nice, robust, red marker F. Maybe an F plus. Is there such a thing as an F plus? I don't know. There'll be a bit of babbling. So if you don't dig that kind of thing, apologies. But if I'm gutting through this the way I'm feeling after watching that crap, you can excuse me for ridiculous rabbit holing. So the simple question for me around the defense is this: is it talent or is it scheme? I will say to you, I don't think I know the answer yet. I have varying opinions. So in this case, somewhere in the middle of the second quarter, maybe, I text my friend Art. No, actually, he texted me. Our defense is, I think the term hot garbage might have been, maybe that was my cousin Chuck. Somebody dropped hot garbage. And I thought, yeah, that's not unfair. I'm not going to push back on hot garbage. So then I ask Art, is this talent or is it scheme? Because I am of the opinion that they are still deficient of talent on the defensive side of the football. I mean, am I out of line if I say I think the best player on that defense through 4 games is a rookie? Or if I surprise everybody and really piss off my brother and say Jeff Okudah is the best player on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know that I'm out of line there. I think Aleem McNeil's played well. I think people are in love with Rodrigo. I think you need to watch more closely. That's what I would say. I don't dislike him, and it's impressive for a 6th-round pick. Rodrigo's game has holes, and if you look closely, you'll find them. I do dig the way my grayness and my beard is blending in with my sweet tiger sweatshirt. Sorry. Rodrigo's game has holes. We are horribly deficient at linebacker. I don't know Alex Anzalone personally. I don't. I know very little about the man. I'm not sure he's that good at his job. I don't know. And they'll say there's things you don't see in practice. He's a good locker room leader. Great. I see him coming in out of control and not making tackles. I don't know what you want me to say. Now, the thing is, if you don't have talent, does the scheme matter? Now, Art's answer to me was scheme. One word, scheme. Okay. And in fact, he followed it up later saying he thought we should fire Aaron Glenn. First time I've heard that. Everybody loves AG. People are out here talking about AG's going to be a head coach. Now, I got to be honest with you. Art is the person I find myself most closely aligned with. Art and I are generally on the same page. I like to hear his opinion for that reason in case I'm going crazy. When Art writes back, might be time to fire AG, I'm thinking, whoa, because Art doesn't do that, right? But then I realized, wait a minute. Seattle didn't punt once today. They were 9 of 12 on 3rd down conversions. We still have problems with mobile quarterbacks. We saw this week 1. And Geno Smith is not Jalen Hurts, but Geno rushed 7 times for 49 yards and a touchdown, including a couple of really big plays. And I don't know if I mentioned, Seattle didn't punt once. Go look up the numbers. How often a team has 10, maybe 11 possessions in an NFL game and they don't punt? That ain't good. Is it talent or is it scheme? I'm not saying I know the answer. I'm saying it's a legitimate question. And somebody whose opinion I respect immediately said scheme and recommended we fire the DC after the 4th week. But they're giving up 35 points a game. I can see how a reasonable person like Art could get there. I'm close. I don't know if I'm close. I don't know. The defense got an F plus today. When your safety leads you in tackles, that's a red flag. And Deshaun Elliott led the team in tackles today with 11 of them. Red flag. There are a lot of things wrong. So I'm going to jump into one tiny rabbit hole, down a tiny rabbit hole. And if some super smart defensive coordinator wants to correct me, feel free. I believe it's called the zero blitz. And it's a deal where you send a bunch of people and you leave guys exposed. Off the top of my head, I believe the zero blitz on key plays, third down, third and long, whatever, resulting in, off the top of my head, 3 rushing touchdowns and a long pass play down the middle. Gino was getting hit as he threw, but Orarie took the year off, and I think it was Lockett wide open. The zero blitz is not working. And more importantly, it's predictable. They know when you're doing it. They're calling plays designed to beat the zero blitz because they know you're coming with a zero blitz. That's all coaching. They're outthinking you. That's all coaching. I don't generally do name calling, but I've dropped a couple already. And despite what my brother thinks of Jeff Okudah, I know what I see. And I think Jeff Okudah's had a really good year. Of the 4 games, today wasn't his best, but I contend DK Metcalf's a really good player. And 2 of the big plays, Okudah was in position and Metcalf just made a play. He just made a play because he's good. So I'm not going to bash Jeff Okudah. If you disagree with me, cool. There's a dude on Twitter already going, why do you love Okudah? Because of something I said 4 minutes ago. I love Okudah because I think he's playing well. And I was always one of the people who thought he was injured his first 2 years. We called him a bust, and we hadn't evaluated his talent when he was healthy. Now, Okudah could go down next week and it's all moot. When he's played and been healthy, Okudah's played well. And I just believe Jeff Okudah's a talented player. And I'm not ready to say he sucks. Kenny told me he sucked 5 times today. Every time DK Metcalf made a catch, I got a text. Okudah sucks. I don't agree with him. I love him. He's my brother. I don't agree with him. I think Jeff Okudah's had a really good season. He didn't have a great game today, but I think that's due in large part because the dude he played is really good. The dude he covered, their best receiver, a top 7-8 receiver in the league, had a really good day. Made a one-hand catch, made a catch with Okudah draped over him. Kirby Joseph made his debut today. I'm writing that off. That is a rookie. I saw some things early where he was out of position. Like he didn't know, like they run the rub game or the pick play and he didn't know what to do. That's just, that guy will get better. I'm not jumping on that. I'm dropping names, but I'm not jumping on everybody. His mistakes look like rookie mistakes that he can be taught. Right now, that being said, I think they missed Tracy Walker, and I wouldn't be surprised if they acquired a safety this week. In fact, I'm going to highly recommend they acquire a safety. I don't love our linebackers. I think I mentioned it already earlier. I'm just being honest. And if you think I'm wrong, cool. You can come on the show, send me an email, send me a tweet, whatever, because I will make this interactive. I'm good with that. I need somebody to explain to me what it is that Alex Anzalone does that benefits this football team. I have no personal grudge against Alex Anzalone. I don't know the man. I watch every play of all 4 games. I need someone to help me understand what it is he brings. The Rodrigo thing was cute on Hard Knocks. Malcolm Rodriguez is a rookie, and he was drafted in the 6th round for a reason. He does some things well. He made a couple of really nice plays today. I don't think he's good in coverage. Maybe I'm missing it. Show me the all 22s, whatever. I don't think he's good in coverage. I think he hurts there. But I'm willing to listen. Now, here's the thing. There's a thing called containing the edge and gap integrity. These are 2 terms that get used a lot. It's about creating lanes, and I'm not going to go too far down. I will tell you we suck at both. That's why we can't contain mobile quarterbacks. We have guys crashing down and running backs bounce things outside. That's coaching. I'm trying to discern talent from coaching. I clearly don't think Alex Anzalone is talented. I clearly think that Jeff Okudah is talented. I think there's some scheme things. I think there's some talent things. The linebackers in general, I think we're talent deficient because our defense sucks at those things. And that's some of that is edge rushers. Some of that is linebackers filling gaps. I could do a whole diatribe about missed tackles, communication, but I'm not going to do it. I don't have much more cornbread I can muster for this defense. I will say to you that the last name I'm going to drop, and I saved him for last because I don't understand. It's a massive talent thing, is Amani Oruwariye. This is hard because he was so good last year. And now I watch Okudah, and my thought was, wow, after the first game, if Okudah's clean being healthy, and continues to play that way, and we got 24 playing the way he played last year, I'll call him 24 or AO because I don't always pronounce his name right. I think I got it right a couple seconds ago, but we're going to be respectful and call him 24 the rest of that show. 24 hasn't played well. I mean, and it's technique stuff. He's turning the wrong way. He's breaking poorly. Can it be coached out? It's things I didn't see last year. So I'm worried about 24. I don't know what's happening. Through 4 games, he got 6 penalties last week. I'm not going to redo that again. It makes no sense because what it means is he's getting beat because of technique or talent, but I saw talent last year, so I don't want to believe he's not talented. This one is tough. Is he in a scheme now that's not what's the same scheme pretty much he ran last year? So you didn't scheme out 24's talent. What is happening with him? And I don't, because he's hurting us. He's literally hurting them. He is a big glaring weakness on the defense that other teams see, other teams know about, other teams go out of their way to take advantage of. So think whatever you want about Okudah and the day he had today. I am telling you, Jeff Okudah is the best cornerback on this team. And we got much bigger fish to fry in the secondary. Okudah's not our problem. AL's not been good all year. If we find out that his injury, I don't want his injury to be bad because I like him. And I saw talent last year. So I know the guy can play. I need to understand what's happening. They need to figure it out, right? So going back to the question, as far as the F+ grade for the defense, is it talent or is it scheme? And as much as I hate to disagree with my good friend Art, I believe it's talent. I'm going to fall on the side of talent. I think there are some inherent risks with a scheme. Aaron Glenn plays an aggressive scheme. I think we blitz at a higher percentage than most teams. I don't have a problem with that. I think blitzes work better if you have talent on the back end. And right now you don't. With Walker out and 24 playing as poorly as he is, the talent deficiencies you have at linebacker, you can't afford to blitz that much. But here's the problem. That's who he is. And that's what they're going to do. So this isn't going to stop. This isn't going to stop. I think we need to settle ourselves in for a bunch of 48, 45 games. Because when I get to the offense, we'll talk about how I feel about that. This defense is going to give up a lot of points every single week. Full stop. I got nothing more to add. This defense is not talented, and the scheme that they run is somewhat predictable and can be exploited. Because, and the thing at linebacker, quick bounce back to linebacker, it's speed is what it is. I think Rodrigo is good. I think Anzalone is good. They don't have speed at linebacker. I want Derek Barnes to be that guy. He might be at some point, not yet. But to me, I'm going to go with talent because I think his scheme is actually trying to cover the talent deficiencies. But when AO is playing as badly as he is, and then you lose Tracy Walker in the back, and you know what you have at linebacker, this is what happens. And I think this is going to continue to happen because you cannot, in the bye week, change your whole defensive scheme. You don't do that. And everybody likes to say, oh, Aaron Glenn's going to be a coach in this league. Maybe. Let's wait until Aaron Glenn gets talent, and let's see what Aaron Glenn's defense looks like with talent. So I don't love the scheme, but I believe the scheme doesn't look good because of talent. All right, I spent a lot of time on the defense, but I think it was important, right? I hope so. I'm going to go to special teams next, or do we want to do offense next? I don't know. Let's do offense next. Now let's do special teams real quick. I'm going to be in Allen Park Tuesday for the tryouts for kicker because I think I can get that gig. Yeah, that's how I feel about special teams. I don't know what the hell's wrong with the kicking in the NFL is hard. Let me stop all the nonsense. It's hard being a kicker in the NFL. Let's just be honest. But that dude better not be in uniform next week. And I said that dude because I mean no disrespect. I don't remember his name. Eberle. Dominic is his first name. I don't want to see Dominic again. I don't know if those 2 missed extra points changed the final score. I think they changed the flow. I think they changed the way the game was called. I think they had an impact. So I don't know what the status of Seibert is, but I don't want to see Dom again, like ever. So I'll leave it there for special teams. I'm not trying to be, again, I don't know the guy. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm evaluating a game I just watched, and I'm not happy about. Okay, offense. Offense, I'm giving an A-, and it's only a minus because of one play. Jared Goff made the worst play he's made in 10 games, maybe his whole tenure as a Lion. Certainly his worst throw this year. Now, I've been, I will say, relatively consistent. I'm a Goff guy. I don't have a problem saying that. I think I've always evaluated quarterback play back in the days of he who shall not be named. He will be named. His name is Matthew Stafford. I will always mention him. Just dig it. I talk about decisions and throws. That pick 6 that Goff threw at the beginning of the second half was a horrible decision and a worse throw. Now, I'm going to be me. I'm going to cut a nice big fat piece of blue cornbread. I'm going to munch it. I'm going to let crumbs fall all over. And then I'm going to grab a bottle of blue Kool-Aid and I'm going to drink it and tell you outside of that throw, he was awesome today. He has been very good all year. He has. He was 26 of 39 for 378, 4 touchdowns and that interception. He was very good today. Not okay, not good enough he was very good. Now, the simple guy who has an agenda and just wants to do his thing will say, if Goff doesn't throw that pick 6, they lost by 3, carried it 2, blah, 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 they win the game. Whatever. The defense gave up 41 points. They couldn't get off the field on third down. They still can't contain mobile quarterbacks, and they were predictable in their defensive play calling, and the kicker missed 2 extra points that probably changed the game because there were other opportunities where you might have gone for a field goal that you did. There are literally 50 reasons they lost the game. Goff's pick 6 is not even top 5. It's not. I'm clearly a Goff guy. I have no problem. One throw today doesn't change that, because I will point you to that 4th and 9 dart he threw to Tom Kennedy. That shit was Stafford-like, and I don't say that easy. Jared Goff's not our problem, guys. I can't do something where I sit here and go, oh, we got to use our picks and move up and draft a quarterback. I'm sorry. I think we have a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback issue. This dude's like 29 years old. He's still in his prime, and he is getting better and better every week, with the exception of one throw. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. I'm not sorry. There were 4 drops. In theory, he could have been 30 of 39 with the interception, well over 400 yards. Jared Goff did everything he could do to help us win this game today. He did. And if you want to take that one play and hold it against him, you could be that person. You can have that agenda. I'm not here for it. I watched the whole game. I watched all of his throws. I watched the touchdown in the corner to Hawkinson. That was right. Only Hawkinson could get it. I'm sorry. We don't have a quarterback problem. That should be good news. It shouldn't be labeled cornbread. It should be good news. We don't have a quarterback issue. We got linebacker issues. We got cornerback issues. We might even have defensive end issues. I don't even know. Nobody on the other side. I mean, Harris and Hutchinson are solid. We need Romeo back. We need Josh Pascal. We have linebacker and secondary issues. We don't have a quarterback issue. They should take both of those first 2 picks and draft linebackers, as far as I'm concerned. That's what I would do. Enough of that. Goff is very good. He's played very good for probably 7 or 8 games now, but they put up 45 points today. Didn't have Swift or St. Brown or their starting left guard, by the way, or DJ Chark, by the way. Who are you going to give credit to? Oh, it was all Hawkinson? Nope, because somebody had to get him the ball. Jamal did his thing. Sure. Josh Reynolds. Yeah. But if you look for silver lining, Goff's play, Hawkinson having his best career game, 8 catches, $179, 2 touchdowns. That's awesome. We need a little more of that, TJ, or a fraction of that. And the emergence of Josh Reynolds, which means if St. Brown goes down, or if, and we have major injuries at the receiver. Josh Reynolds is a reliable receiver. 7 catches on 8 targets, 81 yards and a touchdown. That's a solid day. That's a reliable NFL receiver. I like it. So the offense, Jamal, I'm sorry, I barely mentioned him. 19 carries, 108 and 2 touchdowns. We knew who he was. If you were surprised by that, you just didn't realize who he was. And that's important because as much as I love DeAndre Swift, he gets hurt. That's why I drafted Jamal later in the draft after drafting Swift in the second round. I got them both. And guess who started Jamal today? This dude. Exactly. So Jamal didn't surprise me. That's what Jamal does. I don't see any issues on offense. I'm sorry. They put up a legit 45 today. They ran the ball. They threw the ball. They moved the ball more or less at will. If the defense could stop a nosebleed, this is an easy win. I don't know. Again, you can go back and point to that and just do simple math and say you gave them 7, you would have won the game without the pick 6. I will say technically, hooray, you passed 4th grade math, but football's different than that. So it's not quite that simple. So A minus to the offense. The minus is only because of the one horrific play. Coaching. So this is where it gets difficult. Again, if I consult my cousin Chuck or my brother Kenny or my friend Art, I don't know where we stand on this, right? The thing that bothers me is I have never had a problem watching my team get beat. I believe Philly beat the Lions. Getting beat means the other team plays at a higher level of their potential, or they're simply more talented. In the case of Philadelphia, they're more talented. And the simple analogy is this grade thing. If you as a Lions play a B- game, C+ game, almost any team in the league can beat you if they play their A+ game. That's the difference, right? So if you as a Lions go out and you play an A-, even B+ game, my feeling is you can beat a lot of teams in the league. My feeling is you win the game in Minnesota. You certainly win today. But in Minnesota, you played at spurts an A- game, and then you played spurts where you played a D game, and ultimately you played just enough to barely lose. Today, you played an A- game on offense, but you played an F game on defense. That balance is out to where Geno Smith, I don't even know, and I'm not disrespecting. Geno Smith's an NFL quarterback. Clearly, he's a good player. It was easy. It looked easy at times. I mean, I was watching that game, and if they weren't wearing specific uniforms and someone says, which team is better? It's a tough call. I would venture to say Seattle. I didn't venture 48 reasons to say Seattle's better, right? So it shouldn't have been that way. The Lions have not played a complete game all season. All season. The Commanders game was not a complete game. They played well enough to win at home against a bad team. That's coaching. That whole diatribe was because that is coaching. Unless we're simply agreeing they're not talented enough. They're not talented enough. And again, it goes right back to the same. I am at this crossroads where did I overvalue the talent, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, or did we overvalue the coaching? Injuries are a part, and maybe they get some guys back now from the pup. Maybe this defense is really, really bad, and no scheme can fix it. Maybe talent and deficiency in talent can simply not be overcome by coaching, by skill, technique, any kind of innovation, right? But they make plays, self-inflicted wounds. Are penalties the fault of coaches or players? I don't want to dig too much down there, but when a defensive back commits a defensive pass interference, is it because he's not talented enough to cover his guy without grabbing? When an offensive lineman commits a holding penalty, is it he's not taught good technique, or is the talent disparity between he and the defensive lineman so much so that to not get his quarterback killed, he has to hold? I don't know where you put penalties, self-inflicted wounds, fumbles, Do you blame coaching or players? At times, the defense looked lost, completely inept. I feel like that's coaching. I feel like we got to stop with the AG's definitely going to be a head coach one day. I feel like you need to earn that. And I think this might be the worst defense in the league. So talking about our DC, I don't know if I'm with Art and fire the guy, but I also don't know if I'm at a place where we're dropping his name in the next coaching pool. I like him, but we need to pump the brakes on that, right? This defense is really bad, and he's not scheming around talent efficiencies. I don't know if he can. See, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if it's possible. I know that what I see, and there will be people who will say he's getting the most out of the talent. That's just them saying the Lions have no talent on defense. And if that's the statement, I can't disagree. I can't push back. He's not getting much out of this team on the defense side of the ball. Just not. I mean, I think that there's a conversation about that play with the officials. I don't really want to do that. They immediately scored on the next play. It was a momentum change. It was a big deal. I have to assume that's easy to look up. Like if they were calling the timeout before the ball was snapped, what I feel like that's easy to verify, and the Lions coaches will verify. They'll speak to that at some point. I want to be pissed because they scored on it, but they scored because they beat a zero blitz. So who am I mad at? Am I mad at the refs? Am I mad at Aaron Glenn? Who am I mad at? I don't know. I don't generally do the ref thing that much. From a coaching staff standpoint, I have nothing bad to say about Ben Johnson. I don't know how you can. I could do 20 more minutes, but I don't need to. I don't think they had a single empty possession. I think they punted once. Let me check that. I think they punted once, but they ran for almost 150. They threw for well over 350, 520 or so total yards, and they were 4 for 4 in the red zone. How do I complain? How do I complain about the offense or the OC? I just told you I love Goff. I love Hawkinson. I love Reynolds. I love Jamal. They're missing a bunch of players, and they put up 45 points. It's easy to know what I'm going to say about the OC. He had a good day. We don't need to talk about Ben Johnson. Special teams is a talent thing. That kicker, I think that return guy has potential. I don't generally do special teams coach crap. That's not me. Today is really a day for the defense. It's Aaron Glenn. And if you're one of those people who needs a single person, a single moment, you can take Goff's interception. That's an easy, low-hanging fruit. You certainly could take Aaron Glenn. If you force me to, that's who I take. I think you could take 24 in any of the 4 games if you want. That's how badly he's playing. You have candidates. I'm not picking on a rookie playing basically for the first time, making a couple mistakes. I think Deshaun Elliott's playing well. I mean, for what he can do with the rest of that unit, that was a good pickup. I still think Hutchinson, even though he didn't have any sacks, Hutchinson creates havoc. And when there's more talent around him, he might already be a star. He's not going to get 3 sacks every game. Talented player. I like that pick. I'm happy. When Romeo's out there or when they're rotating more, I don't think anybody regrets that. I'm sorry. I think Jeff Okudah, through 4 games, I like it. I like what I see from this is the guy I thought they drafted with the 3rd pick. And I think he's only going to get better. So from a coaching standpoint, I don't know if there's anything I need to say about Ben Johnson. I don't know if there's anything more I can say about Aaron Glenn. And Dan Campbell didn't do anything crazy today. I actually would have kicked a field goal late, but it worked out and they scored, so I can't really push back on that one. Down 10. So there's not a lot to complain about. I don't know how you handle the ref thing. And there'll be people, because I once heard a complaint about Jim Caldwell, and people hate when you bring up Jim Caldwell. But there was once this complaint, and it still comes up every now and then. He didn't bitch enough to the refs. He didn't yell enough at the travesties, right? He didn't, but that's not who he was. And you were asking him to not be himself. So I don't know what Dan Campbell can possibly do about that ref call. I don't pick out one thing. Well, I think there's 10 things. I think there was a 2nd and 20 situation, In a 10-point game, if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 13 and 9 yards for a first down. Easy, easy. The defensive side of the ball is where the concern is. If you have a problem with the quarterback, you're just a different kind of cat than me. If you have a problem with Jeff Okudah, I love you even if you're my brother, but you're wrong. if you find some way to blame this game on anything but the defense side of the ball, we're just different. So it's easy. There's an F+ for the defense. I don't even know if I graded the special teams. Probably be a D. Offense is a strong A-. I don't know how to grade the coaches. It's such a disparity. I don't know how, if I give Ben Johnson an A+ because the only bad play was the fault of Jared Goff and Jared Goff alone. If I give Ben Johnson an A+ and I give Aaron Glenn an F, is it fair to give their whole staff a C? I don't even know how that works. And I just made this up. So I have no idea how it works. Here's the real problem we got, guys. It doesn't sound like it, but 1-3 is significantly different than 2-2. It really is. Here's why. Now you got to go to Boston and find a way to win at New England. Because if you don't, and you come back from Boston 1-4, that's a long 2 weeks for the bye. That's a long 2 weeks. And forget about the long 2 weeks of guys calling their favorite radio show guy, telling him how great he is and he's the best thing in the history of radio, and then blaming the Fords and doing all that bullshit. After the bye, you get Dallas, Miami, and Green Bay. There's nothing that doesn't suggest that's loss. Now you're sitting at 1-7 and the wheels are off the train, right? You got to find a way. That's a long 2 weeks. And then you come back to Dallas, Miami, and Green Bay. And we are staring 1-7 in the face. I'll still do the podcast. I'll still find some way to be positive. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take the week off. It's not a good situation. This is why last week hurt so much. The reason this shouldn't have happened, but when you back-to-back them, it's just a kick in the nutsack, man. It's bad. It's bad because you should have won last week, and you should have won today. Dallas, Miami, Green Bay, back-to-back-to-back. And nobody's giving you a win in Boston next week. What are you doing? So those guys who are out there on their little Twitter, typing SOL, typing forward sell the team, I got nothing to say to them. I can't in good conscience tell those guys they're wrong. Now I know they are. In my heart, I know they are. In my heart, I hate their guts. I mean, not my cousin Daryl. That's my guy. And he's saying it. I know he's saying it. But in my heart, I hate their guts. I don't want to hear that ever. But when you do this, when you do in Minnesota what you did last week and you do today what you did today, you make it very easy for those people to say those things. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. So yeah, that's about enough of that probably, right? 48-45 loss, tough, ugly, borderline disgusting. Yeah, I don't even know how to wrap this up. That was not fun. So I hope you guys have a good week. I'm hoping I feel better next week. I hope they somehow pull off a win so I both feel better and I have something good to talk about. But I do appreciate you listening. If you listen, I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if you did. I don't know if I did. But I hope you did. And I hope you will come back next week and keep coming back. Again, thanks to the SPE, the super producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Ward. Everybody have a good week, and we'll see you soon.